Alright guys, I'm gonna cover this train derailment a little bit more because I listened to the press conference they had, and as with most people, it probably left me with more questions than answers. And I think when something like this happens in your town, I believe whole information should be made available to you. What were you exposed to? What did you breathe in? What's the possible long-term health effects from it? When I listened to this press conference, a couple things jumped out at me. Was, first of all, excuse me, the FAA declared that a no-fly zone over that. Which, okay, maybe they're having a big problem with drones flying over. I don't know. I wasn't down there all day, every day. Maybe it was a big issue, or was it to kind of keep shots like this from being picked up, and seeing what leaked, what is leaking, what is burning, etc., etc. I don't know. This has nothing to do with the village, people, the fire chief. This would be railroad, company, EPA above, asking for these, sanctions to be in place. Another thing I took from there was they had no list of what was in any of these cars, okay? Any of these derailed cars. Which, especially as a, fire chief, or, even the mayor, I would want to know what is spilt in my town, okay? What possible health effects does this have on your residents? They had no info of anything. The only thing we know about is this vinyl chloride, which we will get to. The other thing, the EPA or anybody from any agency wasn't there with any information what was in any of these tanks, or box cars, or whatever, whatever that mess is. There was, what was the other thing that I was telling you, lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. They have these air quality detectors throughout town, okay? The air is good, okay? It's not hazardous, but yet we felt the need to close all the businesses. Which, you say, okay, whatever, that's not odd. When we get into more of what, vinyl chloride is, you will see the, maybe some of the reasoning behind that. Which I wish they would have just came out and said, because I found this article just right before I went live. This was updated for 4.5 hours ago, okay? They confirmed the vinyl chloride. The EPA put the air monitors throughout town, reports 0 readings of health risk in the air. Vinyl chloride is it's kind of like propane. It is shipped as a liquid when it's under pressure, but as soon as it it's not under pressure, it turns into a very, it's a flammable gas. I like this runoff, okay, has been detected in streams, okay. I find that very interesting. So if you have chemical runoff, I'm, my strongest guess would be you have tankers that was, punctured, which I'll show a short video and you'll get it. You'll get kind of the thing. See, this is what I don't get, okay? The spokesperson for Norfolk Southern said the safety features inside the rail car is functioning at this time. There should be no interference with the train by local fire departments while the safety feature is functioning. If the safety feature is functioning, okay, maybe in one car, okay, what about the rest of them? Were they all carrying that chemical? What was in them cars? Okay, every train that leaves the station, okay, that's packed, that's coupled together, they have a manifest. Okay, this manifest states what's in every tanker, what's in every boxcar, etc. They know what that train was carrying, not East Palestine Village officials themselves. The railroad company, the EPA, all of them, they know what every one of them tankers, them boxcars were hauling. Okay, so you have one rail car, okay, where the safety system is functioning, which they said in the press conference it was functioning, but it was venting. Okay, so they all have relief vents on top, which is, I couldn't even tell you the PSIs, but if the pressure inside the tank gets, so many PSIs, instead, if it don't vent, the tank will explode. So that's what the vent feature's there for, is to vent, gases out, so the pressure in the tank don't get too high, and then the tank ruptures, at its weakest point. I see their, evacuations. I see they did an emergency order, still in effect. Evacuations, I see the next one will be what? Saturday, February 5th at noon. As this morning, the fire has lessened a little bit, but fire, smoke, and plastic smells are still noticeable in the area. Okay. I don't know how many of you have, that live in this area, and maybe you're watching if you live in this area. How many of you have walked outside? Have you smelt burnt plastic? I would describe the smell that is out there now and was out there really strong last night. It's kind of a sweet smell, right? It's kind of good. I don't know, this weird sweet smell to it, which this is a accident report by the NTSB of another train disaster. I think this was back in 2013, but it was carrying vinyl chloride. Now, see, vinyl chloride is a colorless gas with a mild, sweet odor. Okay, it's used to make PVC pipes, coating for electrical wires, etc. Now, in order to detect, okay, for your nose, to detect that mild sweet odor, the concentration has to be about 3,000 parts per million, okay? Which is really high if you're detecting that with your nose. If they said that no employee, or we'll say nobody, okay, should be maybe exposed to concentrations greater than 5 parts per million averaged over any period not exceeding 15 minutes. How many of you that were evacuated last night or in town now still smell that smell? In order to smell that smell, the parts per million has got to be about 3,000, okay? Now, several minutes of exposure to higher cost concentrations, so that's more than 1,000 parts per million, okay? You could have dizziness, drowsiness, disorientation, tingling, numbness, burning sensation of hands and feet, impaired vision, nausea, headache, difficulty breathing, unconsciousness, or even death. So this train that was carrying this chemical, okay, which, they evacuated last night, which is a safety thing. I understand it. They did not know what was on there, or they said they didn't know what was on there. But if you can walk outside and smell that smell, I mean, the concentration has got to be 3,000 parts per million to smell it, okay? Now, whenever there is a leak like that, they use the AEGL, the Acute Exposure Guideline Levels, okay? AEGL1, which is basically non-disabling and transient reversible effects. That would be your dizziness, all the stuff that I, stated above. In order to do that, you only need to be exposed to 450 parts per million for 10 minutes in order to start having them effects on you. AEGL2 is the general population could experience irreversible, long-lasting health effects, or an impaired ability to escape. For that, for 10 minutes, you only need 2,800. Okay, AEGL3 is life-threatening, which is 12,000 for 10 minutes. So, why ain't this information being put out? I mean, I listened to this press conference, and being what we know was being at least carried on that train, why wasn't this released to the public? Why aren't residents out there, asking questions? What was all on these tankers? I mean, were these all carrying vinyl chloride? I mean, I'm sure the box cars weren't, but or was there other chemicals? I mean, obviously they have detected runoff into the streams, so you had to have leakage of, that chemical to mix with the water, and that's how it's getting runoff into the streams. When they were hosing it down last night, all that water runoff, the gas will mix with the water, and it's kind of, soluble in the water, and it just becomes part of the water. Why isn't nobody asking these questions? Why aren't they releasing this information? Why did the train company call in its own experts? Which, it's okay. These Palestinians don't have EPA experts. I understand. Why did they call their own experts in? Basically, told the fire department, you can't be on scene. I'm not quoting here, but you can't be on scene. Don't mess with anything until we tell you it's okay to come put the fire out. These are all questions all residents should be asking right now. I don't believe the air quality is okay where you can smell that sweet smell. I don't believe it. If you can smell that smell, the concentration is at least, or around 3,000 parts per million. It's just something I find interesting, guys. Pull up some of these videos. I don't know about you, but this sure looks like gas escaping to me. It looks like gas vapors igniting. As you can see, the kind of flames. I mean, it's under pressure, and that looks like gas vapors escaping to me. Maybe not, but I'm not a fireman. But it looks like vapors to me escaping. I mean, this was last night. And this is what you guys were all breathing in. And continue to breathe in. It still smells. What's in these boxcars? That are still smoldering. I mean, that one had beer in it. If you drink Modelo and you're expecting a beer shipment, I don't think it's going to arrive. What's in all these boxcars that are still smoldering? What is this? I don't know, plastic like. What was this that leaked out? Well, melted out, let's just say. What's in these cars right here? Is this the car that the valve's working, but there is 10 other cars down there that leaked that have holes in, and left all this out for you guys all to breathe in? You have to ask some questions, guys. Demand some answers. Demand to know what was in them. What was in all them cars? What did you breathe in? Because as of the last conference, nobody had no answers. They had no idea what was in them cars. Do you know what the train was carrying? No, I don't have the information in front of me. I don't have that information. Well, if I was breathing the stuff in, especially on the fire, look at all the fire departments that, responded last night. What were they all exposed to? Get out there, ask questions, guys. If you don't ask no questions, you're not going to get no answers.